PowerPoint, it's all set. You have control, and you just let me know when you're ready. Do you mind, Brianna, shutting the door for us? We are just catching up. We had our persuasive speeches, and Julie is the last one. We didn't get them all fit in during our last class, so she had a nice long break before she had to go. But they're all persuasive in nature, so here we go. Whenever you're ready, Julie.
So this way? I'm gonna face this way.
No, but you can just act like this isn't here. Yeah, just act like that's not there.
First I want to just show this video about the immigration law of 1965, so you guys know the basic background of this. That's the volume is on.
In 1965, Congress had massive immigration reform for one of the first times, almost in the history of the country. If you go back to the history and the origins of this country, immigration was largely unregulated. We had some pretty nativist and nasty laws that came in, but immigration was largely unregulated. In 1965, Congress passed immigration reform that led to things like hemispheric quotas, how many people can actually come from different parts of the world to the United States. Before that, when all the European immigrants had been coming in the late 1800s and early 1900s, there was really no such thing as these sort of hemispheric quotas. You just got on a boat. When you got off, you were in the United States. That was the old immigration system. Now, in 1965, we changed that whole system by that time into the 60s, and so few people were coming from Europe. And so the countries that had lesser economies and lesser opportunities were Latin America and Asia. And so we started to see a shift. And for a while, the immigration system was sort of, quote, working because those populations of Latinos and Asians were coming to the United States in balanced numbers. But the immigration system was never reformed. And so when people started coming for economic opportunities or family reunification, people had to start coming without visas.
Okay. Okay. My specific goals are to convince my audience that the immigration law of 1965 is a better policy than the old policy of the Immigrant Act of 1924. For this topic, I examine the Congressional Digest and other sources. I want to show that Johnson's administration immigration law of 1965 is significant. It can be adapted for the current immigration plan of 2013. According to America, the unusual article, the Immigration Act of 1924 restricts the number of immigrant entrants into America through a national origins quota. The quota gave 2% of the total number of people with their own nationality in the United States immigration access. For example, 2% of total number of Italians in America will give the immigrants consideration under that act. The immigrants from Asia are completely denied access. Immigrants have come and continue to come to America for several reasons. First, they may want to escape unapproved religious or political status back in their homeland. Second, they carry with them economic issues. The immigrants thought they would get the values of individual accession and the equality of opportunity. In this chart, the blue line shows the number of hearings that the Congress held regarding the immigration law and immigration issues. The first peak point indicates that the hearings began in 1948. During the years of 1950 to 1954, the chart shows that the Congress was paying less attention to the immigration law and its surrounding issues. The chart shows that during the year of 1955 and 1956, the Congress did not look at immigration at all. However, the year of 1958 shows the second peak point the Congress investigated immigration law. Later, the attention of the Congress regarding immigration issues reached equilibrium. After the year of 1998, the chart indicates the highest level of attention from Congress. According to the Congressional Digest, in middle 1963, President John F. Kennedy had asked Congress to enact a set of proposals calling for the complete revision of U.S. laws regulating the immigration of aliens into the U.S. The House and Senate both held hearings on the Kennedy bill during 1964. In 1965, the Johnson administration backed bills that were introduced in both Senate and House. The opposition to the bill voiced by Representative and Senator Cynthia Evans. He spoke of the concern how immigrants will take some American citizens' jobs and deny the equality of opportunity, and the problem of declining of natural resources because too many immigrants overuse them. The majority of Democrats in both Senate and House support the law. According to the Congressional Digest, in the conclusion, the Speaker of the House, John McCormack, and Congressman Emmanuel Sale mentioned 40 years ago about how this immigration bill of 1965 would become one of the most important acts of the Congress. Passing of the immigration law of 1965 would give American citizens strength in many unknown ways. President Lyndon Johnson said the law would acknowledge the new immigrants when they come to America. He said it would allow developing countries to enter the U.S., especially Asians. The new law would have significant influence during the civil rights movement, would end the ethnic discrimination. It made America a prosperous country because so many cultures and traditions were brought in. Johnson also said the American people would feel safer and stronger because immigrants from all countries could share their opinions and no one country's people rule another. According to the CNN report, President Obama said America's immigration system is broken in 2013. He wants to make improvement to the immigration system that includes immigrants first pass a background check, show some knowledge skills, and pay a penalty before they can be qualified to earn citizenship. Obama's immigration plan has a lot of similar arguments that compare to the Immigration Act of 1965. So he can adapt it into his new creative immigration plan for the 21st century.
All right, very good, 8 minutes, right on time. All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit. What do you think? Seeing what I'm noticing more so than anything, I mean, all content aside, you guys are improving big time with your delivery. I don't know if you guys are noticing these things, but what do you think about Julie? Just any feedback for her? Yeah.
I think her flow's been a lot better.
Yeah.
Been less pausing and more just
Most definitely, the flow is much better. No pauses. I noticed the rate is really good. Anybody else? The articulation, I thought too. I mean, I really had we've always talked. You have a much more difficult time. You have to really articulate well, and I think you're doing a really nice job with that. So, good job. All right, so today, guys, we're kind of tying up some loose ends for this big service learning. Did you have some more?
I just want to say you have to remember to stop here.
Oh, and my whole lecture's online. All right, I'll stop as I'm. Is this on? My face will be right up in it, so I'm going to be like this.
Photo booth.
Was it through FaceTime, guys?
Photo booth.
Photo booth. Over here.